Welcome to the Pencil Bob channel. I hope you enjoy my stories. Please like and subscribe, and hit that notification icon so you never miss out. Now on with the stories.
Patrick Taylor had always been fascinated by unique cars, but nothing captured his imagination quite like the 1993 Ford Mustang with a fiberglass chicken head and saddle feathers. This wasn't just any car. It was a spectacle on wheels, a conversation piece, and a symbol of joy. From a young age, Patrick remembered watching this quirky vehicle strut down the main street during parades in his hometown, its feathers ruffling in the breeze, and people laughing and pointing as it passed by. It was a sight that left an indelible mark on his heart. The car's original owner had poured love and creativity into crafting the chicken-themed masterpiece. It wasn't just a vehicle. It was art in motion, a rolling testament to the owner's playful spirit and inventive mind. Patrick dreamt of one day owning it, to be the proud driver of such an extraordinary car. Years later, when he heard the car was up for sale, he didn't hesitate. He snapped it up, fulfilling a childhood dream and starting a new chapter in his life. Driving the chicken car was an experience like no other. Every journey became an event. Strangers would wave, take photos, and sometimes follow him just to get a closer look. Kids would giggle and point, their faces lighting up with joy at the sight of the gigantic chicken head bobbing on top of the car. For Patrick, this was more than just a fun ride. It was a mood booster for everyone who saw it, a mobile happiness machine. He quickly realized the car's potential to spread joy and began sharing his adventures with it on social media, amassing a significant following. People from all over the country fell in love with the chicken car, eagerly awaiting updates and new photos. However, not everyone shared this enthusiasm. Patrick's Homeowners Association, HOA, took issue with the car, deeming it a commercial vehicle rather than a personal one. They pointed to Patrick's social media presence and the merchandise he sold featuring the car's image as evidence. To them, this meant the car didn't belong in their shared parking lot and was subject to fines. The HOA's relentless stance was clear. Patrick would be fined $100 every day the car was parked in his driveway. The HOA's crackdown hit Patrick hard. He had always been a quiet, unassuming guy who had faced his own set of challenges, particularly with his mental health. High school had been a tough time for him, filled with anxiety and self-doubt. The chicken car had become a source of comfort, a tangible reminder of better days and brighter futures. It was more than a car, it was a symbol of hope and resilience. Patrick had even driven it cross-country to raise funds and awareness for mental health causes, making it a beacon of support for others struggling with similar issues. I get comments and messages from people on social media indicating that I've made their day better, Patrick explained in an interview. It's not just about me, it's about the impact it has on others. But the HOA was unmoved. They sent formal letters demanding that the car be removed from public view, citing neighborhood rules and regulations about the appearance and maintenance of properties. According to them, the chicken car was a distraction and not roadworthy. Patrick was devastated, feeling that his personal joy and the happiness he shared with others were being unfairly targeted. Refusing to back down, Patrick decided to fight back. He started a petition on change.org, pleading with the HOA to allow him to keep his beloved car in his driveway. The petition's heartfelt plea struck a chord with many. The chicken car has been my pride and joy for the last 7 years. Permitting the chicken car to park freely will enable me to dedicate more time and effort into projects that truly matter. I believe that individuality and self-expression are essential to a happy and healthy community. Please sign this petition to show your support for the chicken car and its right to park in my driveway. The response was overwhelming. Over 2,000 people signed the petition, leaving comments and messages of support. Some shared their own stories of how seeing the car, even just online, had brightened their day or helped them through tough times. Strangers from all over the country reached out, showing solidarity and support for Patrick and his unique car. As the petition gained traction, the pressure on the HOA mounted. They were inundated with calls and emails from supporters demanding they reconsider their decision. The local media picked up on the story, and soon, Patrick's fight was making headlines across the country. News stations interviewed him, showcasing the chicken car and discussing the broader implications of individuality and self-expression within communities. Despite the growing public support, the resolution between Patrick and the HOA remained uncertain. The situation highlighted a significant debate, the balance between community regulations and personal freedom. Many argued that the HOA's actions were an overreach, stifling creativity and individuality. Others believed that rules were rules and should be uniformly enforced to maintain community standards. In the midst of this battle, Patrick's words resonated deeply. I feel like it's an attack on individuality. If we can't express ourselves in our own driveways, where can we? The story of Patrick and his chicken car became a symbol of the struggle for personal expression against rigid regulations. It was a reminder that even something as mundane as a car could carry deep personal significance and bring immense joy to others. Patrick's fight was not just about a car. It was about preserving the right to be unique and spread happiness in one's own way. Eventually, the situation reached a climax. Patrick and his supporters gathered for a community meeting with the HOA, where emotions ran high. Many neighbors who had previously remained silent came forward to voice their support for Patrick and his car. They shared stories of how the chicken car had become a beloved fixture in the neighborhood, bringing a smile to their faces on even the gloomiest days. Finally, after much deliberation, a compromise was reached. The HOA agreed to allow the chicken car to remain parked in Patrick's driveway under certain conditions. Patrick would ensure the car was well maintained and would limit the promotion of his merchandise to avoid the appearance of a commercial enterprise. It wasn't a perfect solution, but it was a victory for Patrick and his supporters. The chicken car continued to be a symbol of joy and individuality, not just for Patrick but for everyone who encountered it. Its story had sparked a national conversation about the importance of self-expression and community support. Patrick's fight had shown that sometimes the most significant battles are fought over seemingly small things that carry deep personal meaning. In the end, the chicken car became more than just a quirky vehicle. It became a symbol of resilience, hope, and the power of standing up for what one believes in. Patrick continued to share his adventures with the car, spreading joy and reminding everyone that individuality and self-expression are essential to a happy and healthy community. And as he drove down the street, the familiar sounds of laughter and delight followed, proving that sometimes even a chicken-themed car can make the world a better place. I still remember the day I received that letter from my HOA board. It was like a punch to the gut. They were informing me that they would be levying a special assessment on me to the tune of $100 a month because one of my tenants had an emotional support animal. I couldn't believe it. I had been a responsible homeowner in this complex for 17 years and never had any issues. But now, suddenly, I was being punished for something that wasn't even my fault. The tenant in question had lived in the residence for a year and had provided all the necessary documentation to prove that her 5-pound dog was an emotional support animal. I had done my due diligence as a landlord and had verified the documentation before allowing her to move in. But apparently, that wasn't good enough for the HOA board. Their argument was that they couldn't charge the tenant directly, but they could charge me, the owner, because I had allowed this to happen. They claimed that the assessment was necessary to cover the costs associated with wear and tear, damage, risk, and impairment to equity. But the truth was, there had been no damage, no nuisance complaints, and no issues whatsoever. The tenant was a single woman who kept her dog clean and well-behaved. I was furious when I read the letter. How could they justify this? I had always paid my dues on time and had never caused any problems. But now, they were essentially holding me hostage because of a tenant's emotional support animal. I felt like I was being punished for being a responsible landlord. I tried to reason with the board, explaining that an emotional support animal was not the same as a pet. I pointed out that the Fair Housing Act specifically prohibits discrimination against individuals with disabilities, including those who require emotional support animals. But they just wouldn't listen. They kept repeating the same tired lines about reasonable accommodations and how they were just trying to protect the interests of all homeowners. The final straw was when the board president told me that it was only $100 a month and that I could make up for it by drinking one less latte a day. I was livid. Did they really think that I was just going to roll over and accept this arbitrary assessment? Did they think that I was made of money? I've been fighting this assessment for months now, but it seems like no matter what I do, the board is determined to get their way. They've refused to provide any evidence of the supposed damage or risk that the emotional support animal poses, and they've ignored my requests for a meeting to discuss the issue. It's not just about the money, although $100 a month is a significant burden. It's about the principle of the thing. I feel like my rights as a homeowner are being trampled on, and that the HOA board is abusing their power. I've talked to other homeowners in the complex, and they're all just as frustrated as I am. We're all tired of the HOA's heavy-handed tactics and their refusal to listen to our concerns. But what can we do? We're just a small group of homeowners, up against a powerful and entrenched bureaucracy. I've considered taking legal action, but that's a daunting prospect. I've heard horror stories about the costs and stress of fighting an HOA in court. And even if I were to win, it would be a long and drawn-out process. For now, I'm stuck paying the assessment and seething with anger and frustration. I feel like I'm being held hostage by the HOA, and that there's nothing I can do to escape. It's a terrible feeling, and I just wish that someone would listen to me and take my concerns seriously. But until that day comes, I'm stuck in this never-ending nightmare, forced to pay a special assessment for something that's not even my fault. It's a constant reminder that, no matter how hard I try, I'm at the mercy of the HOA board in their arbitrary rules. Are they really dumb enough to think that calling it a special assessment instead of a fine will keep them safe from legal action? Okay, I am pretty sure that I know the answer, but still, I find it idiotic that they would even try it. It makes me glad that my documents have a clause in it for special assessments against a limited number of people instead of everyone. If a special assessment is applied to less than everyone in my HOA, 75% of those assessed have to approve it. Yeah, OP, this is just illegal. 1. Not how special assessments work, as anyone needs to be drafted and brought to the community in open meetings and town halls before voting for adoption. 2. As stated above, this is just breaking the Fair Housing Act, which requires what you enforce, legally, on one owner you must do to all. Before you threaten legal action, ask for the HOA's minutes and proof they performed the required meetings and town halls. If they refuse or give you the runaround, then make a note of legal action and request the association's legal counsel review and give you a formal response in writing if they claim they did everything right. Source: been in property management for bare a decade and specialize in governing docs and partial legal counsel review. I am in VA, but the fair housing law applies in all states since it's federal.
I would like to thank you for watching the video to the end. To encourage us to make more videos, please like, subscribe, comment, as well as share. Check out this other video if you haven't already.